What's crack-a-lackin'? It's your boy Broshmo, just in case you did not know. So we're going over the top free agents. I'm giving you 50 of them. And when we get to 25, I'm going to give you my where I think they're going to go in the offseason. Their fits and whatnot. So, yeah, don't be scrolling through the video yet. But, yeah, before you do that, go ahead and become a bro and subscribe and leave this video a thumbs up if you enjoy the content. Thumbs up really helps out a ton apparently, and gets the video discovered, gets me discovered. Guess what? More content to the channel. There's nothing wrong with more content. Speaking of more content, I got a draft class evaluation. Kind of sorted. I'm gonna give end of the year draft class grades, and kind of compare them to what I thought after the draft. Come see how wrong I was. Am I right? It hurts sometimes. It hurts. But, yeah, also got a mock draft. I'll be on it in a couple of weeks, though. Probably be only the first round, but be on the look for that. Go ahead, share this video with a friend. It's not that embarrassing, right? I like to think I put out good content. Let's go ahead. Let's dive in. I'm going to rattle off these names, so hang tight. Hang with me. We're going to start with 41 through 50. 50, I got Robert Quinn. Not everyone can make it on this list. First off, let me tell you, this was tough. Because on top of, I determined this order, right, based on how valuable the position is, how much they'll cost essentially in free agency, and how they did essentially this past year, or if it was down year, stuff like that. So a lot of went into trying to figure this out, and you're not always going to agree with me. So, hey, be cool in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know your opinion, and we can talk about it. It's always fun to discuss football, but I got Robert Quinn here. He had 11.5 sacks this year. You could probably get him, for the most part, cheap on a 1 or 2 year deal. Maybe get a Cameron Wake-esque deal. So I like him there. Andrew Whitworth, came from the Rams. As offensive tackle. The guy's up there in age. He's probably could retire realistically at the end of this season, but this was his worst season since 2008. Honestly, if the team does get him, probably get him on a 1 year deal. Eric Ebron out. Why am I saying out? I'm so used to doing these draft videos. Played for the Colts last year. He's tight end, red zone weapon, mismatch nightmare. The teams might have to overpay to get him though. That's why he's so low on this list. I don't like that. Brian Poole, corner. Is he a 1 year wonder? This year he played very well. Played in the slot though. In the slot, you could get a good slot corner, really. The slot's a very easily replaced position, so not a lot of value there. Dante Fowler, out. See, I keep doing out. He came from the Rams. But, again, this guy, he's going to get grossly paid wherever he goes. It's not like he's a very consistent edge rusher. He'll have great games here and there, but for the most part, he can be forgettable. And then Bud Dupree, again, I think he's probably going to re-sign, but a guy that kind of played very well in his contract year. So it's kind of risky, but I think he'll re-sign. Michael Brockers, he's been one of the most consistent run defenders in the league since entering the league there for the Rams. I think he's going to be a good bargain there in free agency. Logan Ryan coming here at 43. Titan fans, they think I hate Logan Ryan. I don't know why. I just think, he's an okay slot corner, but he could be a low cost, especially he could be a low cost re-sign. You could get him for a good deal. Kevin Pierre-Louis, this guy really played to get on this list. He played very well when Smith couldn't play. He's a journeyman, and he's likely still going to be a journeyman. And then Austin Hooper, you might be like, why is he so low on your list? I mean, he's 41. That's not that low if you think about it. But again, 1 year wonder. He's probably going to re-sign though, so won't have to worry about it too much. Let's move on to 40 through 31. And we got Trey Boston here, safety guy, another journeyman. He's probably going to be a low-cost journeyman, but he's been very consistent. He's been above average for the most part, mostly through his career. He's actually one of the better safeties in the league. Safety's kind of a position where I don't know. It's weird in the offseason. You see these guys get paid big money, and then other guys, they don't end up signing until maybe after roster cuts, so it's kind of unusual. Clinton Nix, he had a good year, but it feels like he's now in the journeyman. I guess part of his career. I think he's gonna be flipping team to team here and there. Then we got Sue, man. Right, the dude's up there in age. He's a great run defender, though. He'll solidify your run defense. Just ask the Buccaneers, but you're gonna have to pay a lot for him. That's my problem. He costs too much just for a 1-year rental. Brian Bulaga, offensive tackle. The guy's got injuries. He's now 30. I mean, if you sign him now, you're going to sign him to play 64 games and he only plays maybe 35 to 40. So it's just with tackle, you're going to see a lot of guys get decent money like a DJ Humphries just because there's not a lot of great tackles out there. So if you could get a decent one, you will. So he's going to get paid. Brandon Sheriff, he kind of has the same injury worries as Bulaga, just not as much. And the big difference is Bulaga's play is kind of fallen off where Sheriff's has been pretty good. Robbie Anderson, this guy, I wouldn't want to sign him if I were a team. He's going to be signed to be a number 2 somewhere. He's likely going to get a Tyrell Williams type deal, 4 years, $44 million. So I think he's going to get grossly overpaid. Javon Hargraves, probably one of the most underrated guys, undervalued guys in the league. I think he's probably going to re-sign with Steelers. He should be retained. He's one of the best pure nose tackles in the league. Then Kenyon Drake, running back. You're not gonna agree with me where I have some of these running backs at. I'm just gonna say that now. I think running back it's a disvalued position nowadays. Teams know, like, if you sign running backs to large deals, could backfire on you. I mean, look at Todd Gurley. He's not really helping his team win. Zeke, now they have to jump through hoops to really figure out how are they going to get Dak and Amari signed. Who else is paid a ton of money? I mean, Le'Veon Bell. So it's like, that's why you saw Melvin Gordon kind of struggle. He was like, hey, I want to be traded. Teams didn't want to give up that much because running back's just not as valuable as it used to be. See a lot of these teams find success with running back by committee. Just look at the 49ers. So as for Drake, he's probably going to be re-signed. Honestly, it's probably going to be David Johnson on this list instead. They're probably going to let him go. Matt, what is it, Fillier? I don't know, but out of Pittsburgh, guy played right tackle last couple of years. Like I said, it's hard to find an average tackle nowadays. And Matt here, he's been reliable. He'll find a home somewhere. Teddy Bridgewater, quarterback. Will he re-sign is the question mark. If he does, I can't imagine the Saints giving him more than a 1 or 2 year deal. So he's very likely to go elsewhere. And then we're going to 30 through 21. And keep in mind, at 25, I give you my predictions of where these guys are going to go. So that's going to be fun. And then Hunter Henry, he's low on this list. Injuries, man. He's scary. I think he's only played like little under 40 games out of the possible like 60 some he could have played. So there's injury concerns. He's probably going to re-sign though. Leonard Williams, he's likely to re-sign. I mean, why would the Giants trade for a 1 year rental on the guy? Especially when you're not, it's not like you're trading for a 1 year rental to get to the playoffs. They weren't competing. You traded him for him to be a building block part of this team. You might think he's pretty low on this list. I think this is right on. I think this is fine because the guys you're getting into are really good. And then Jaron Reed from Seattle. He's very undervalued, underrated. He's been a key rotation piece for that Seattle defensive line. And then James Bradbury, the corner out of Carolina, man. He's probably going to be re-signed, honestly. If not, he's going to be grossly overpaid somewhere else because just like offensive tackle, corners, good corner plays hard to come by nowadays too. DJ Reader. He honestly should be higher on this list. He's been very consistent, and he had a banger of a year there in Houston. But his contract demand is going to be high. Like, he's going to probably be asking for like a 5-year, because he's young, 5-year deal for like 65 to 7 million. I don't know if the Texans will give up that type of money. So let's move on to Melvin Gordon, man, running back. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he's going to be with the Chargers. It's going to be too expensive. The Chargers don't have the money to really pay him what he wants. I think he's going to end up going to the Falcons. Honestly, I think it'd be a 1-year rental, essentially, or a 1-year prove it type of deal. Falcons, they will have to move money. They'll probably cut like an Alex Mack, because their line's already had problems, so they're probably going to try to rebuild that line. They've already added a few pieces here and there. Keanu Neal is a likely cut candidate, cap casualty, if you want to say, because they've had to play the last couple of years kind of without him. And they got Allen and was it Kazay, the guy they drafted like 3 years ago out of San Diego State. So they got guys that have filled in pretty decently. Derrick Henry likely to re-sign, but like I said, I am my position on running back, so it's no surprise. Melvin Gordon, I think he offers a little more in the pass game, but Henry's been so dominant on the ground. Like, he's just dragging tacklers. I can't imagine Tennessee parting ways with him. Same goes for Jack Conklin. Like I said, like, tackles, they're hard to come by. So I could see this guy getting a little overpaid. He's going to probably get into the 5-year, $50 million, $35 million guaranteed type of money. I'm pulling that from Collins, the tackle from Dallas. That's what he got paid. I imagine he's going to get paid similar money. Jameis Winston, I can't see him moving on. I think he's going to get franchise tagged. I think Arians is going to give him one more go, because who are they going to draft? I mean, Herbert might fall to them, but even still, they would have to, sign somebody out of free agency. So why not just give Winston another go? He's a daredevil, essentially, but I mean, the guy really, he's in the 30 touchdown, 30 interception club for a reason, but he does have that big play potential to keep, like, if his team's down, he can get them back in it, because he's, I don't want to say reckless, but he's kind of reckless with the football, and sometimes it pays dividends. Next, I got Emmanuel Sanders on here, and in all likelihood, the dude is going to re-sign again with the 49ers, maybe on a 1 or 2 year deal. An older type of guy, might get $6-7 million. Just keep around. I think especially if the 49ers go far, I can't imagine them parting ways. On to 20 through 11, I got Phillip Rivers here. Guess where I think he's going? He's going to the Bears. I think they're going to bring in competition for Trubisky, especially they don't have the draft capital to really trade up and go for another quarterback. So bring in a guy that give Trubisky his shot, but now he knows the minute that play declines, they could throw in Phillip Rivers and be a contender. So I got him down here again because his play has been up and down. But yeah, Joe Thuney, the guy from the Patriots. Interior, he's done a very fine job. One of the better interior linemen in the league. He's going to get re-signed. I can't see them. They typically like to keep their tackles. Again, okay, you look at Trent Brown, but they brought in Trent Brown, so they like to keep the guys they drafted. They drafted Joe here. Then Shaq Barrett from Tampa, staying with Tampa, in my opinion. After the year he's had, I can't see them letting him go anywhere else. Corey Littleton, I think he is actually going to end up being a free agent. He's going to be a cap casualty. You're going to see the Rams, they have to make moves to free up some cap. They don't have the draft capita to really improve this roster. They've done so much through free agency that their hands are kind of tied, and I think he's going to reap the benefits. He's been one of the better coverage guys, and I think a team like the Cardinals are going to jump on that, who's had trouble covering the tight end. They got Hicks, but they need guys, especially Littleton, who's been very consistent. Like I said, one of the better coverage linebackers in the league. I could see them dishing out 5 years, $5 million for him, like an Anthony Hitchens or a Benardrick McKinney type of contract. They got that type of money. I could see the Cardinals dishing out that for him. Anthony Harris, I don't think the Vikings can resign him. I think he'll go to the Texans. Hear me out on it. This guy's been a stellar safety, one of the best safeties in the league. He is like 27, 28, but I think the Texans, they have some room. They have some room. They have some money. They made the mistake of letting the Honey Badger leave, and you saw kind of what it did to its secondary. So I think they'll bring in Harris on maybe a 3-year, $40 million. You look at the Honey Badger, you got 3 years, 42. So I could see it being in that ballpark. Austin Eckler, I have him very high on this list, and BT Dubs, if Gordon leaving, then he is re-signing. They're going to make sure they keep him because I love what he does in the pass game. That's why he's so high on this list. He's adequate as a runner. Whenever he's on the field, the teams don't know if it's a run or a pass. So I like Austin Eckler. They have Joe Jackson there too. So he's been really good at pounding the ball. They have enough draft capital to really draft somebody too. It's a very good running back class. So I don't think Austin Eckler moves. He's a restricted free agent, so teams could offer to make a offer sheet for him, but I bet you the Chargers match it. Anthony Costanzo, the Colts offense tackle, he's re-signing. They're gonna keep that offensive line intact, especially if they're trying to get a rookie quarterback in there. You don't want to put a rookie quarterback in a bad situation. You do that by not re-signing your tackle. And then Eric Armstead from San Fran. I don't think the Niners have enough cap space to re-sign him because this guy, they could franchise tag him, but this guy's going to end up being worth probably like 16 to 20 million a year. So I have him going to the Lions. I think the Lions, they're done with Snacks. The run defense was terrible. And if they do this, if they go and address the interior, especially with someone who has been also a prolific pass rusher, then they could address other positions in the draft. They have very high picks, so they can go elsewhere. Eric Armstead helps with that. Ryan Tannehill, I know he's high on the list, but the quarterback position is valuable, dang it. It really is. And he has put in a quality year, a very good year. A superb year. That's why I think he's going to get franchise tagged. He's staying in place. The Titans, they need stability at a quarterback. Mariota's not going to be there. They're not going to re-sign him. They're going to bring Tannehill back in. I like him on a franchise tag because it's like basically a 1-year prove-it deal. And then AJ Green, a guy coming off injury. I get it. I know he's high on the list, but he's high on the list for a reason because there's the only other receiver I have ranked over him in free agency is Amari Cooper. So teams are going to value him because they need receivers. I know it's a deep draft, but some team's going to go out and be like, hey, it's worth a shot. I think that team's the Eagles. Hear me out on that. I know a lot of Eagles fans, they want Henry Ruggs. But y'all have made it. Y'all love signing some receivers. Alshon Jeffrey, Deshaun Jackson. You love bringing in these older guys to come in, and they play well typically when they're not hurt. Now, the Eagles, they have 48 to 52 million in cap space. Kind of depends on if they'll increase the cap room for teams this year. We'll find that out in a little bit. But I think the Eagles, with all the injuries and with the struggles they've had at receiver, rather than drafting a guy early, they go and bring in a guy like AJ Green, who I know he's got the injury concern, but you can't deny the guy can still be a top 10 receiver in this league. On to 10 through 1, and we're talking Justin Simmons. I absolutely have loved Justin Simmons this year. He has been phenomenal. He has been great. There's not a chance, I think, that the Broncos don't re-sign Justin Simmons. I have him going back. What are they going to stick with? Who at safety? Kareem Jackson? The dude's like 34, 33. No, you got a guy here who's like 25. I know he had a down year the year before, but he showed consistent play before that. and I think you got a guy who is starting to hit his prime. Yannick Ngakoue. I don't think the Jaguars can afford him. I just don't see it. And you know who does? The Ravens. They got some cap space to play with. They need an edge rusher, but not just an edge rusher. Yannick here, he can force some fumbles. And what do we know about the Ravens? They love turnovers. They got turnover machines on that defense. So they come in. I know they've invested a few picks at the edge, like you got Jalen Ferguson, but you really need to hit on it. We know Yannick. We've seen his production. He's a double-digit sack type of guy. He's gonna probably command like a D Ford like contract, so he's not gonna come cheap. He's gonna be like 5 years, $85 million. But I like this pickup. Like I said, they have the cap room to do this. Chris Harris, cornerback. We know he's not going back to Denver. He doesn't want to go back to Denver. I'm surprised he played out the year. I'm surprised Denver didn't trade him. So a team that really needs some help in the secondary. I'm going the Eagles. Like I said, they got the cap space to do this. They can do this. AJ Green, Chris Harris. I know he's getting on in years, but he grades very well on the outside, in the slot, no matter where you put him. I mean, in the Eagles, they could still draft a guy there at corner. You need pieces everywhere in that secondary. So I think they do this. I like this pick a lot. Amari Cooper, he's not going anywhere. There's one guy out of this trio between Dak, Cooper, and Byron Jones who I think is going to end up getting let go. Not let go, but not re-signed. It's not Cooper, though. They need receiving. Like, after him, they got Gallup. That's nice, but who else? There's no one there to give Gallup the room. Gallup's had some key drops this year. Amari Cooper's been very consistent. Yes, he kind of Houdini's here and there, but you gave away a first-round pick for him. I don't see them getting rid of or letting him go. Chris Jones, dude's a monster. He is easily the best pass rusher on the Chiefs, and you know what? They're re-signing him. I don't get it. I don't see why. I don't see how he leaves Kansas City. I don't see how Kansas City lets him leave. He is a cornerstone for that defense. They brought in Frank Clark. Frank Clark is more of a run defender specialist. They need to add a little more pass rush. That's why you saw them get Terrell Suggs for the playoffs, essentially, because they knew how important the pass rush was, and they know that their defensive line isn't offering it. Chris Jones does offer that in the defensive interior, though. We got Clowney here at number 5, and he re-signs too. This is kind of the same thing. You don't trade for a 1-year rental. I know it's going to cost an arm and a leg to re-sign him, but he has been fantastic for the Seahawks. I say give him whatever he wants. Give him the house. Give him the house and then some. Byron Jones. This is the guy I think Dallas is going to end up. He's the odd man out. They're going to keep Prescott. They're going to end up keeping spoiler alert. They're going to keep Cooper. I just don't think they got pretty decent corners there. It's a shame. I think they're going to let him go, and I think the Cardinals are going to be the guys that take him. They need help in the secondary. They got some young guys, but they need someone proven. Byron Jones is proven. He's probably I'm thinking he's going to cost like 5 years, $75 million. That's what Xavier Howard got. Granted, Stephon Gilmore, he ended up signing for 5 years, $65 million, but that's kind of before he's popped off for the Patriots. So honestly, he should be the highest paid corner in the league. But Byron Jones, he's going to probably command that type of money. The Cardinals, they have that. Then you got Byron Jones and Byron Murphy there. You got the brothers Byron. So yeah, I think the Cardinals are going to be big players in trying to sign some of these top guys. Dak Prescott, I already said, he's re-signing. He's a franchise quarterback. What, Mike McCartney is going to come in here and be like, nope, we gotta draft our guy. Not a chance. Whether it's a franchise tag or they sign him a long-term deal, they're re-signing him. Drew Brees. I can't see the Saints letting him go. I mean, they'll look for the next guy, but better believe it. But I don't see how the Saints could just let him walk away. They'll find a way to re-sign him and probably bring in another guy in the next year or two to be kind of be mentored by Breeze. And then here is the question: Tom Brady. Where will Tom Brady go? Where will my Tom Brady be? I don't think he'll be with the Patriots. I got the Chargers. Tom Brady still wants to play. I think his time in New England might be over. They might move on and try to find a new quarterback for the franchise. The Chargers, oh man, what you gonna draft Herbert? I mean, Philip Rivers, I think he's gone. And they need to move on from him. You get a guy like Tom Brady, then that gives you time to find a franchise quarterback, because this offense is set from a playmaker perspective. He's got playmakers there. Now they could go into the draft and address the offensive line, and maybe in the 2021 draft or the 2022 draft, you draft a franchise quarterback. The heir apparent. So Tom Brady, he allows you to keep this team competitive. You keep that playoff window open. But that's it for the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. But until next time, you be easy, my friends. Later.